Hello, my name is Miss Heather. Today we are going to be learning about Latin roots. Some may wonder what's the point of learning them. By understanding the meaning of these various Latin roots, reading can actually become more accessible to us. When we encounter these unfamiliar words, we can then leverage our knowledge of the meanings of these roots and then apply it to that context. Alright students, now let's turn our heads to this anchor chart that I made. What is a Latin root? A Latin root is a bound morpheme that cannot stand alone. Does anybody know what a morpheme is, or do they remember what it might mean? A morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of language that cannot stand alone. As you can see, there is an arrow that is pointing to a cloud right here, and it says that there are some exceptions with certain roots, like in the root script and cycle. Script can stand by itself, but it can also be in combination with a word like prescription or cycle, bicycle, recycle. Here are some examples of the morphemes that cannot stand on their own, like dict, ped, cred, dorm, and telly. All of these roots right here have distinct meanings that carry on to other words. Now let's talk about the characteristics that we see in Latin roots. The characteristics that we can see are seen in multisyllabic words. Hold on, guys. What's that right there? Multi? Is that a Latin root example in our examples? Yes, it is. Multi means many. So many syllables. So more than one syllable, with prefixes, roots, and suffixes. Most Latin roots appear in combinations with one or more suffixes. That's an example of like prescription, script, that is an example. It may or may not be a word that can stand alone, and that's why I put that correction right there, because there are exceptions where it can stand alone, like script and cycle, but telly, cred, ped, those are words that cannot stand alone. And I have it right here. Script, yes. Vert, no. Now let's start talking about these Latin roots in use. Let's talk about the root dict. Dict means to say or to tell. Now let's look dict, verdict. What do we think that might mean? Obviously, it means something that is either saying or telling. Does anybody remember where they might hear the word verdict? That's correct. You could hear verdict in a courtroom when a judge or jury gives their sentencing or their sentence. And we can see that the pink letters in all of these words, we know that dict means say or to tell. So in verdict, they are telling what they have decided. Now, with diction, it is the choice of words in speaking or writing. So, in diction. Now let's look at benediction. It is a blessing spoken aloud. As we can see, spoken, say, or it's being told. Now let's look at dictator. Does anybody know what a dictator is? Alright. A dictator is a person who speaks or rules with absolute power. That goes along with the saying and tell, dictator. Now let's look at jurisdiction. The power to interpret and apply the law. What do all of these words have in common? That's correct. They're either saying something or they're saying or telling something. And all of these words, that's what they have in common. A dictator is saying words to use his power. In benediction, a person is saying a blessing, say. In diction, a person is choosing what words they want to say. Once we understand that these Latin roots carry on into different words, we are able to better understand a plethora of many more words.